And after Sandy Hook, discussions have been springing up across the country on whether we're doing enough to help those battling mental illness. Doctors right here in our state say help needs to start as early as possible, but they're watching more and more children with psychiatric troubles end up with nowhere to go. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Kim Lucy sat down with one mother to figure out what can be done.
Who is that?
Steve.
Steve from Blue's Clues.
Angela Konoski's 15-year-old son Connor loves to play music and work on art projects.
So many choices.
And he's pretty fond of hamming it up for the camera whenever he can.
Oh, come on.
But for his whole life, Connor has been battling autism. Just recently, the neurological disorder took a turn towards the psychiatric when Connor started hurting himself and threatening others.
It didn't matter if he was upset, if he was happy, he was just hitting himself. He was having a lot of aggression. He was going after myself, other family members, and it was getting scary.
First, Angela turned to a doctor she knew well, Connor's pediatrician. She says he told her only option was to put her teenage son into an institution.
I just could not believe it. It was almost like this doctor was giving up. And what he said in his defense was, we only have so many resources.
After a particularly bad episode, Angela didn't know where to turn, so she took Connor to the emergency room at Connecticut Children's Medical Center.
We describe it as a crisis.
Doctors here tell me the number of kids like Connor coming into the emergency department with psychiatric problems has been rising by 5 to 10% every year.
Our department was designed to care for up to 4 psychiatric or behavioral health patients, and at times we're caring for up to 15, 16, or 17 patients.
Adding to the problem, those patients cannot be admitted to the main floor since CCMC is not licensed to provide psychiatric care. So from here, they either have to go home or be admitted to a psychiatric facility.
They may, for example, need an inpatient bed, but that's typically an adventure and a journey to find that bed for a suitable, appropriate placement, rather than have a child sitting here for 6 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, days, literally to weeks.
Dr. Paul Dworkin is the physician-in-chief at CCMC and has grown so frustrated at seeing his ER packed with patients he can't help. He's speaking out.
Throughout the system, wherever one looks, there are gaps and there are capacity issues.
Dr. Dworkin says when it comes to kids, what we really need to be focusing on is prevention and early intervention. He says some steps have been taken in the right direction, such as the CARES unit here at the Institute of Living campus. That's really focusing on kids and teenagers. But he says programs like that need to be given more specifics and get bigger and better.
Thank goodness for CARES. I can't imagine how challenging this would be without CARES, but it is insufficient to stem the tide of what we are seeing in and by itself.
He would like to see lawmakers focus on 2 changes right off the bat: implementing a process to give quicker access to open psychiatric beds in the state, and make it easier for hospitals to collaborate when an emergency room hits capacity.
My personal belief is that those could well be 2 priorities that would make an immediate difference and not have any cost implications.
I do think there's a solution, but I think it requires not just the medical staff, but the insurance companies to work together. And you really need to bring parents and families to the table.
After months of frustration, Angela and Connor began working with a neurologist out of Boston.
These are all the meds.
He's now on 8 different medications to stabilize his seizures and calm him down. It's tough to manage. Angela has a husband and 3 other kids, is trying to hold down a job and take care of Connor all at the same time. But she says there's no way she could ever send him away.
As long as I'm on this earth, I want him to be with me and be in our home.
He has a small trampoline in the basement.
It might be a struggle, but this family, like thousands of others, are vowing to get through it together. Kim Lucy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.